Hey, how's it going, guys? So in today's episode, we're just gonna go through the contest winner of the second day of Christmas. For those of you that it's the first time watching this video or watching my channel, I'm doing 7 days of Christmas from last Monday, which was a couple days ago, till till Monday the 25th. I'm just giving out little things. So for this giveaway, I gave out a Genesect keychain, which is really cool looking. 2 Sun and Moon packs, and 2 Marshadow, and a Marshadow code, and a Shiny Savali code for the 3DS. I know that these are small, and they're not, the value of them is not great, but it's a thoughtful gift, and it's just my way of giving back to the community and to my followers and supporters of the channel. So yeah. So with that said, let's see who won this giveaway. Alright guys, so here I have Gleam. That's the website I use for my giveaways. It's the easiest way of giving out stuff because it gives me your email, which is easy to contact you and stuff like that. So we're gonna go in here, we're gonna draw a winner, we're gonna allow repeat winners. So there's 14 potential entries but only 1 winner. We're gonna draw. And Alexander Barrios in San Bernardino, California. I'm going to be emailing you shortly to try to get this out to you. Alexander, thank you so much for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. So yeah, that's our contest winner right there. Alright guys, so now for the rest of the video, as requested by one of the people that commented on the first day of Christmas giveaway video, I'm going to do Greninja deck list or deck walkthrough. Greninja is still kind of a thing that's going around. It is still a deck that people are playing. It's very anti-meta. It kind of shuts down abilities and just snipes, which is really neat. So I feel that the version that I have is the most optimal version for the format right now. So with that said, let's get into this deck list and break down the deck for you guys. Alright guys, so for this list, obviously we start with Greninjas, or with the frogs. So you play 4 Froakies. You want to play the bubble one because there are scenarios where you will flip a coin, and if you paralyze your opponent, sorry guys, if they don't have a Guzma, they're not getting out of it. They're going to be stuck there for a turn, and it buys you a turn. Very rarely you will use this twice. And also for the 1 energy, you're pretty much set up because this deck only needs 1 energy for its attacks. So yeah, so 4 Froakies is very important. Next, 4 Frogadiers with the Water Duplicates ability. This ability is so awesome because you play a Froakie, you do Water Duplicates, you get 3 on the bench, and you're pretty much set at that point. This one's gonna die, unfortunately, the one that you have active, but your 3 on the bench are gonna be able to come in and take its place and go off. But yeah, so that's the great thing about this. Next, 4 Greninjas. You want to use the Greninja with Shadow Stitching. I know that some other people are using the promo, which I don't recommend because you want to be consistent enough with your Shadow Stitching. You want to shut off abilities to the point where you're taking knockouts with Moonlight Slash. So yeah, Shadow Stitching shuts off your opponent's abilities for the rest of the turn. Moonlight Slash, you bounce an energy back to your hand, you do an extra 20 damage, so it's a total of 80, which is good because if you know that it's gonna die, then you can save that energy instead of wasting it, which is really good. And then next turn you can kind of get rid of that energy and do a Water Shuriken. And 3 Greninja breaks. You run the break for the giant Water Shuriken. This lets you discard a water energy from your hand. It has to be a basic, so you can't use splash energies for this. And you put 6 damage counters. So this isn't really Mr. Mime doesn't stop this because you're not doing, it's not an attack and you're not doing damage. You're putting counters, which is really good. So this is really handy against like little decks, and you're gonna see why Water Shuriken is so important in this deck. You do run just one Lele. Your deck is a one prize attacker deck. They're not gonna get 2 prizes ever from you unless you allow them to, and the only way you allow them to is with Tapu Lele and a couple other things, but mostly Tapu Lele. You don't want to drop it immediately. There's no need for you to use it. If you have it in your hand, opening hand, and you already have a Sycamore, play that Sycamore, get rid of this Lele, put it in the discard pile, so then your rescue stretchers are live. You can rescue stretcher this back, get a Guzma when it's very important, very crucial, and take game like that. So yeah, only the one, and only play it if you absolutely need to play it. It does play one Tapu Fini. The only reason it runs the Tapu Fini is for the GX move, to bounce something that's kind of in your way or kind of annoying, to bounce it back into the deck and get rid of it. That's the only reason this is here, and for the most part you hardly ever use it. So yeah. Now, the recovery of the deck, we have a Staryu and a Starmie, a 1/1 line. We have the Staryu from Breakpoint with the free retreat, because it's always good to have free retreat on your Pokemon. All the Greninjas have free retreat, and the Staryu has free retreat. So yeah, energy commitment or energy placement is very crucial for this deck, and so yeah. And you have the Starmie with Space Beacon, to return two water energies back to your hand, so it gives you 2 water shurikens for the turn, or it gives you a water shuriken and an energy of placement for the turn. So that's also something very important. You want to try to protect this as much as possible, and it gets really hard because most of the time your opponent won't even go after your Greninja. They'll try to hit this to slow you down, but you have recovery because you have rescue stretchers and you have rescue stretchers. So yeah. Now, the secret attack of this deck, SP on EX, with the Miraculous Shine, which pretty much de-evolves everything that your opponent has. So now let's talk about this. You're playing against Metagross. They're Bronzons, or no, yeah, the pre-evolve, the basic Pokemon has 60 HP. So you snipe it and you hit it with a Greninja with a Water Shuriken. You snipe it 60 damage. You snipe another one 60 damage. You bring this up, boom, and you de-evolve. And then everything de-evolves. So if they didn't do a Bronzon, you de-evolve them to their basic form and they blow up, and you get prizes that way. Against Gardevoir, same thing. Ralts has 60 HP, so you de-evolve them, boom, you start blowing stuff up. That is the purpose of this deck, and that's why this deck is still good and it's still highly competitive, and I highly recommend it for anybody that's kind of new to the game or that wants to pick up a deck that kind of will let you have a good time, and at the same time it'll make your opponent kind of rethink his plays. So yeah. Next, I'm going to talk about the supporters. So for consistency, we do play 4 Sycamores and 4 Ents. We play this because we want to be able to draw our cards when needed to. The 4 Sycamores is very crucial because you want to be able to get stuff into your hand, helpful things that you need. And the Ends are always good late turn to disrupt your opponent. It kind of really doesn't throw you off when you get late turn End if you have your Starmie set up, because at that point, if they're late turning you End, you should have at least 2 or 3 Greninjas set up, and you should be able to just Water Shuriken, and then Shadow Stitch or Moonlight Slash for like the knockout, because you only need 1 prize anyway. So yeah. Next, it plays 2 Guzmas. We've talked about this a lot, like me and my team members, about the Guzmas. I actually think Guzma is very important in this deck, and I'm going to tell you why. So let me break it down. So if you have, I'm just going to use the Greninjas, I'm not going to use the whole thing. So you have, like, say this is your board. You have 2 on the bench and 1 in active, right? So, and you have obviously water energies in your hand. So you Water Shuriken, retreat. So this one's already been used. You Water Shuriken, that's 120 damage, so 60 plus 60, 120. Now this one can retreat because you retreated this one, right? But if you Guzma, and you, let's say you Guzma up something that you've been targeting, you Guzma, Water Shuriken. So now you've done a total of 180 damage to a Pokemon. So if that was a Lele, boom, that Lele's dead. And you can target a Lele and bring something else up with Guzma, and then, like say you still have an energy or it already has an energy attached, you do Shadow Stitching, and you do 40 damage, and they're pretty much, they can't use abilities. So they can't Lele. If they're using Metagross, they can't use their Metagross abilities to get the energies back from the deck or from the discard pile. If it's Gardevoir, they can't over attach energies, and even if they're attaching a ton of energies, it's hard for them to kind of get a knockout because you have 170 but one energy, or even less one energy, or maybe no energies attached to you. So yeah, so that's something to take into consideration, and that is also why we run Guzma. We talked about the numbers of Guzma. I've been wanting to try to run 3, but I think 2 is the best way of running it. So yeah, it's usually for that late game push where you want to run it. And it goes back to me saying, if you have a Lele early on, you want to discard it so then you can be able to bring to get a Guzma when you need it with Rescue Stretcher. Next, it runs 3 Brute Lake Hills. It lets you Brute Lake Hill lets you search your deck for a basic water Pokemon and put it on your bench. You usually get your Staryu or another Froakie if needed to. That's what this is in there for. For tools, we run 2 choice bands. The reason for the choice bands is just to hit numbers. As you know, Greninja is only hitting for 40. And then 60 plus 20 if you bounce up an energy, so 80, 110. So your numbers are actually, it's just 40 and 80. Those are your numbers. But with this, you can hit 70, 110. Which are better numbers? If you think about it, 110 plus 60, 170, that's a knockout on the Lele if it's active. And that's something that usually happens. That's also another reason why the Guzma is good. So yeah. Hammers. The reason we run hammers is because Golisopod's annoying, because we're weak against it. And also, Golisopod's annoying. Gardevoir, if it gets really fat, really big, you kind of want to put them back in their place. Zoroark is everywhere, so that's why we run hammers. Hammers, I think, is kind of a staple right now in the format for any deck. Just because the format is very energy heavy, and I know that someone mentioned it on the previous video that I did yesterday of Sylveon GX. So yeah, so hammers, very crucial and much needed in almost any deck at the moment right now. Next, we run 4 Evo Sodas. Evo Soda is great in this deck because you will Frogadier, Frogadier, water duplicates, get 3 Frogadiers. Is it Frogadier? I feel like I'm saying it wrong. Yeah, it is Frogadier. 3 Frogadiers, and then like let's say you have 2 Evo Sodas, Evo Soda into Greninjas, and you're set. You're set to go for the next couple turns. But yeah, after that, the only thing you would want to do is play your Ultra Balls and get your Greninja breaks, add them to your hand, so you can start doing water shurikens. So yeah, this deck is very to the point. It's very fast. It's very like, let's go, hit, and that's what's actually really good about it. It runs 3 Field Blowers. The reason for the 3 Field Blowers is because Garbotoxin really shuts down this deck. Even though we're choosing water stitching or shadow stitching, even though we're using shadow stitching, Garbodor still messes with us because we can't use water shurikens, and that's the main purpose, or the main way we do damage, our damage output. So yeah, so running 3 Field Blowers is very important. If you see Garb, I wouldn't recommend discarding these. I'd try to hold on to them because they're gonna win you the games. Also, one more note, Parallel City is also annoying against us because we get parallel to 3, and that pretty much shuts down our board. We can't really do too many plays with just a board of 4. So yeah, because you have your active and 3 bench. So yeah, so having Field Blower is very important. But you also have Brute Lake Hill that gets rid of the Parallel City, so you also have that. But it's still good to have these, just in case if you don't have the booklet in hand. Last but not least, rescue stretchers. We run 2 because, like I told you before, if you have a Lily in your discard and it's late in the game and you see something that potentially you're gonna knock out, or they retreat something to kind of get it out of harm's way, Lele, Guzma, bring it up, get it out of here. So yeah, that's why you run rescue stretcher. Also, shuffle things back into your deck if like you want to throw back your Starmies because they got knocked out, or you need extra Frogadiers, or you need extra Greninja breaks because your splash energies were taken away because of hammers. This is why it's in here. One more thing. The reason why we chose this over Super Rod, because we have Starmie. And Starmie is technically our Super Rod, and Super Rod throws it back into the deck, Starmie gets it into your hand, which is where you want it. So yeah. Now, the thing that makes this deck so good is sorry, apparently this is not the same sleeve, but yeah, yeah, you can tell too by the back. But yeah, just so you guys don't think like, oh no, he's cheating. No, I borrowed this deck from Ryan because I don't have Greninja myself, but I know how to play it and I know the ins and outs of it. I borrowed this from Ryan, and I guess he had ripped the sleeve, so he replaced it, but he replaced it with the wrong one. So yeah, it must have been an accident, but I'll fix it. I'll probably re-sleeve this. I'll probably be playing this now that I have it in my hands for a couple tournaments, just because something I will tell you guys, if you have extra decks or you have access to extra decks, or people can let you borrow a deck to play just at a tournament, like if you have a friend that has a deck that you haven't played, even though you know that's not your playstyle, even though you know you don't want to play it, I highly, highly, highly recommend to pick up extra decks and play different decks. The reason for that is because by you playing other decks, you start learning their ins and outs. You start learning, oh, this deck plays like this, and this deck needs this card to be able to function. So yeah, and you can play around that. If you know, like for this deck, you know that Starmie is kind of the engine of the deck. No Starmie, no water shurikens, no pinging, no blowing stuff up. You target the Starmie, and then your opponent who's playing Greninja has to work extra hard to kind of get that Starmie back up and running. So that's something to also take in consideration. So yeah, so that's why I highly recommend, if you have extra decks to your disposal, play them. So yeah, anyways, Splash Energy. We run 4 of them. The reason why we run 4 is because when a Pokemon with this energy is knocked out, you return everything on it back to your hand, Pokemon-wise. So like a Froakie, that's a Frogadier, that's a Greninja, that has a Greninja break. If it dies, you discard this, you return all the Pokemon back into your hand, and you keep going. And then 6 water energies. We run 6 water energies because we want to be able to be consistent enough for hitting water shuriken, and also this deck has a low count of energy because you don't need that many energies to attack. Your Pokemon are using 1 energy to attack. That's it. So yeah, and it's usually a splash energy that's on there. So yeah, but yeah, that's the deck list right there, guys. Alright guys, so that was the Greninja list right there. I hope this was helpful for you guys that are trying to build Greninja or play Greninja. I know that there's not a lot of people talking about Greninja nowadays because it's kind of irrelevant, but it's still a good deck to play at your locals and stuff like that. It's still making an impact on the format. So yeah. Now, with that said, let's get into our 3rd giveaway. It's gonna be our 3rd day of Christmas. I switched it up for you guys. I do have more keychains and stuff, and I wanted to give you more keychains, but I wanted to switch it up. And I kind of started digging through the stuff that I have, and I was like, ooh, maybe they'll like this. So, for this giveaway, you're getting a pack of Xerneas sleeves and a pack of Yveltal sleeves. I got these when I opened up the X and Y collection, but I didn't want to use them. So, and they're probably just going to sit in my closet. So I'd rather give them back and give them to you guys. Kind of like someone will use them and someone will find something for them. Even if you don't use them for your deck, or like let's say you have a little kid brother that they want to play Pokemon and you want to give them sleeves for a deck, and you don't want to use Ultra Pros or like Eclipses or Dragon Shields on them, you give them a pack of these. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be stoked. Even if you don't use it for that, you can still use these to sleeve up the cards in your binder, which I highly recommend, because there's a lot of you that don't put sleeves in your cards in your binder, and that's a big no-no. Well, for like trainers and stuff, it's okay, but for like bigger things like GXs and EXs and stuff like that and full arts, please put some sleeves on them. But yeah, and in addition to the sleeves, 2 packs of Crimson Invasion. I know, guys, it's not the best set, but I have packs of these from I forgot what tournament I went. Oh, when I got top 8 at Hesperia, I got like, I think like, I don't know, 11 or 10 packs, and I was gonna use those for the giveaways, but then I was like, Christmas is coming and I kind of want to give stuff back, so I'm giving you guys packs. But yeah, also I'm gonna throw in, because I'm trying to make this as awesome as possible for you guys. I'm gonna throw in 10 code cards, random code cards. I'm just gonna, I have a box of code cards, like a Trainer Elite box full of them. I'm just gonna grab 10. I'm not gonna look at them, just grab 10 and send it off with this. But yeah, so in addition to that, you're getting 10 code cards. So this giveaway is very TCG heavy. I know the last one was kind of like, you get a little charm and you get a codes for like online play for Pokemon, but yeah, but this one's TCG heavy. So yeah, which this channel's TCG anyways. I don't talk about like Pokemon Go or Pokemon Sun and Moon. So yeah, so there you go, guys. You guys already know, if you want to win this giveaway, make sure to check out the description. A link will be there for this giveaway, so go check that out, guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Please leave me a comment for tomorrow's idea, because I have nothing. I have something. I might review Volcanion. I do have a spicy version of it, so I probably will review that, but I also need ideas for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday. So, well, Monday I'll do the weekly update, but there's not really much to update because there's nothing going on during the holidays, except like the Vegas Shield tournament that's on the 6th and stuff like that. But yeah, but guys, in the comments, just let me know what you guys want to talk about. You guys want me to talk about another deck, I'll get it together. I'll ask Ryan to let me borrow it and we'll talk about that deck. You guys want to talk strategy, like what are some good things to notice from your opponent's hands, or like what your opponent is doing that will help you move forward in the game state, or like pay attention to game state things. Also awareness of time. We can sit down, we can talk about that. I'll spend like a good session talking about that stuff. I don't mind telling you what are the things that I look at when I'm playing competitively, if you guys want to do that. So yeah, let me know in the comments and we'll talk about that tomorrow. But with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to share the video if anybody wants to win some awesome stuff. I know it doesn't look that great, but to someone out there, they'll be super ecstatic to get this stuff. But yeah, with that said, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.